Hi everyone, Mary at Espresso Press Design. Thank you for joining me today, July 15th, 2025. Today we're going to be making some embellishments. But first, I hope you'll permit me a little show and tell time. And I forgot to write my thank yous. But I thank you to everyone who ordered products, watches the video, likes, shares, subscribes, comments. I appreciate all of it and thank you so much. New product is Tickets Paper Collection, I think the name of it is, and this is printed full size, and the approximate size is 3 1/4 by 2, but this is another page, but you can print at scale to get the ticket sizes you desire. And I think it is 10 pages of assorted tickets. So everybody loves tickets, hopefully. And hopefully you'll enjoy that. I did finish my little next kitsch card journal, so I'll show you that. This back is wallpaper, and after the cover was dry it warped. So I put it in an embossing folder and that helped straighten it out a little bit. I didn't want to throw it away. I'm pretty sure this card is like from the 70s. It's 25 cents. I can't remember 25-cent cards. But that's how I solved that, and then I put a pocket on the back, but I didn't want to cover that 25 cents. So I just found this, I thought looked kind of retro. Used some of my alcohol dyed paper. Not too much ephemera in here. I didn't want this one to be a gator mouth. So for the most part, it is. There's some of our brad paper clips we made, or I made. And then there's my little retro flower signature strings. And this is a little torn pocket edge. And it's pretty simple. I kept it simple because who knows what I'm going to do with it. Probably practice some type of something in here. Either art journaling or collaging or something. But those make nice little quick journals, I'll say that. Okay, and also I have been working on paper clay. What a learning curve that is. Trying to get dimensions in something the thickness of 1/4. But it's a lot of fun, and I've had that in my stash forever. Well over a year. I've been meaning to do something with that, so I finally did. Okay, so today we're going to make, well, I eventually settled on these little buttons, and this was inspired by a couple of different things. Let me get this under here. I'm not sure if you're going to see. that they are quite glossy. Let me stand up a second. I can't tell what you can see from this angle. I don't know if I'm going to catch that gloss or not. Let me just hold up one here. There you go. They're quite glossy. Okay, so I said last week that maybe I would do a masterboard. Let me backtrack a minute. I said I would maybe do a masterboard, but then I wasn't feeling it. But I did see this technique from WW Designs where she did some watercolor smushing. Now we all know what ink smushing is, and it's very similar, but then I got inspired by a ceramic glaze, and since I really need some new ephemera, I began with these hearts, which are embossed, and then it's okay, it's fine, they're fine, I like them, but then I didn't really want to do the masterboard, but I still wanted to do something inspired by the ceramic glaze, and I still wanted to play around with her watercolor smushing technique. So I thought maybe I could do something that looks like a fossil, kind of fossilized. So then that led to that. And let me bring this one up. And then I turned some of them into buttons. So that's what I really need, is some new ephemera. So that's how that all came about. Long story long. Okay, so what you will need is some watercolor paper. You do not have to use the good stuff. You will need some ink, archival or StazOn, because you're going to be doing your ink first. You will need some stickers. Now what I tried to choose were like outliney type stickers, or not stickers, stamps that kind of I thought looked like a fossil. I do actually have a rock with I think it's either a leaf or a shell design embedded in it. Not actually embedded, like an outline. So that's kind of where it came from. Like maybe these are an old broken piece of pottery, and everybody, well, you should appreciate the medium for what it is, but I always liked it when watercolor was wet, because when it dries it gets a little dull, more matte, which I appreciate and love. I just love watercolor, but I think the glaze keeps the watercolor looking wet, and it's just really beautiful. And it's similar to ink smushing. So I'm getting the two stamps I use. And let me get out a couple more that might be appropriate. I'm actually always amazed at the quality of these Dollar Tree stamps. I mean, Those outlines are really crisp. So probably that's what I could probably even do that dragonfly if I wanted to. But I'm not. But I probably could. So you just get what inspires you, but that was my thinking behind my particular design. So what you're going to end up with is something like this, which this one I actually changed the colors. And I'm going to use it for the final assembly. And I just realized I do not have a third circle here. But when I shut the camera off, I'll get that. Okay, so you're going to begin with your stamping. And don't be worried if your stamping doesn't turn out perfect on the textured watercolor paper. And you're going to need a piece of acetate that you can do your smushing with. You can use a piece of plastic. You might get away with something like this, which is a folder. That might work. Although I prefer something a little more stiff. So this is from probably a bakery item, plastic acetate. And you'll need some type of gloss medium, which I'm using this acrylic gloss medium because it dries fastest. I began with Mod Podge. I do not like Mod Podge. And probably what I'm going to do is go buy an acrylic sealer or an acrylic varnish and put another coat over the top of all of these. Because I do not feel like waiting 30 days for these to cure. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So probably what I'm going to do is just get started and show you the stamping. And then quiet down so I can zoom through this. And I chose brown. This is, no wait, I don't want vintage photo. What I want is Espresso. I also didn't get another cloth, which I meant to do. And now I don't have one. No, I don't have a clean one. Let me get that off there. Okay, this is ground espresso, which is darker. And again, don't worry if your stamping isn't perfect, because it comes out a lot better on copy paper than watercolor. See what I mean? For some reason that center isn't working on watercolor paper, even though it turned out perfect on the copy paper. So I'm just going to go randomly across this page with my largest stamp. There we go, that's a little better. And I'm not worried about it because the watercolor will blend into those places. And it will look like a real fossil. See, did it again, right in the center. Don't know why. Have to put a lot of pressure. But if it really does bother you, use a stamping pad platform. Just do it again. And then just choose any size paper you desire. And I'm just going to show you the basics here, and then you can make what you want. Although I chose buttons and hearts. And someone suggested the hearts would make a really nice mobile off a piece of wood, driftwood or something. I agreed that would look pretty, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So I didn't even punch holes in everything yet. So who knows? Okay. So that's that. Let me move on to my second stamp here. I'm going to go back to this one. Okay. I think that looks pretty even. Or randomly distributed. Okay. So now the fun part. And if you want, you might want to add some metallic watercolor, which I have some gold here. And then get a brush. And I'm using a pretty large brown brush that holds quite a bit of water. And then I am going to, I guess I will stick with kind of like the fall colors, which was the inspiration for the from the ceramics glaze. I'm going to kind of go with rust and turquoise. And I think I'll begin with the rust. Okay. So I've only done this so many times, so bear with me. And hers was very light and watery. And I would like you, invite you to go to her channel because she did some really pretty ephemera. And that was WW Designs. I think she's out of the UK. Okay, here we go. Oh, good. This is turning out. Yesterday, I could have swore I had some soap film on my acetate. So I cleaned it off with alcohol. and now it's working much better. So you're going to do something like that. And then I'm just going to keep spraying this until I get all of this off of here. Until a certain point, and then you can no longer get much off of it, so you might as well wipe it off and start over. This is the fun part. I couldn't wait to try this because you get such organic. Let me make sure I'm in here. You get such organic type things going on that you couldn't do with a brush, even if you wanted to. I mean, you probably could, but it's not so random. And I just think the watercolor, it's similar to the ink, but watercolor has its own characteristics, which I think are beautiful. And it doesn't even matter the quality of the watercolor, so don't even worry about that. I'm not using my good paper, and I'm not using well, my watercolors are good, but if you don't have quality watercolors, which the quality of watercolors has improved so much in some of the so-called student grade, you can barely tell a difference. So don't even worry about it. Okay, I probably should let that dry, but I'm not going to. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just going to try to choose a drier area to start here. And if they make a little bit of brown, that's fine. So you see all your mistakes will kind of like just disappear into the watercolor. We'll make these lovely organic patterns that will really pop with the glaze after they're glossy. They really stand out. And those buttons and hearts probably have between 4 to 6 coats of glaze, gloss. So they look very, very deep, like something like an antique decoupage. Ooh, that's pretty. So I couldn't wait to try this, and you should go check out her channel, because the first time I saw her do this, she made some ephemera and she cut her pieces up, and then she stamped on them with text just to catch the text randomly on her cut up pieces. It's very lovely. But I didn't particularly have any need of that type of ephemera, so I didn't do it like she did. But I thought it was quite lovely. So I'm just going to go in here and get a few places I missed. And then I'm going to dry this before I put a thin layer of gold in some spots. So I'm going to be turning off the camera here, keeping in mind how much time I have, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got a watercolor scrap which I was using to make my center hole, and I forgot you'll need a punch if you want to do the buttons, and you'll need some glue. So let me just get my vinyl color on here. I would stick with 2 or 3 colors so you don't end up with mud. And for my third color, I just chose a metallic or a dark neutral to achieve like some veining type striations, which this is a little wet. And you're probably not going to see this metallic, but when you're doing it, you will see it. Just looks like a little gold veining in there. Something like that. Ooh, that's pretty. And I'm just going to put this one aside to dry and show you the quick assembly. And the quick varnish. Oh, that's pretty. Let me just get the rest of this. This is so much fun. I could just make backgrounds all day. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Let me stand up here, make sure you're seeing correctly. And I'll show you. That's the actual back, which didn't get, that's at 3 layers, so only the top layer got embossed. But there's the back of the buttons. Okay. And I meant to, I'll show you all of these at the end, back and front. Okay, so you will end up with something like this. And this one I actually used a little different colors. I used mauve and blue, lavender, gray, and gold. So I think I'll just, and I used a different flower stamp. So I'm get a punch. You'll need 3 circles. It doesn't matter. I mean, what you're looking for here is just a pattern. 3 circles. And you don't even need your bookbinding glue for this. Just use a very thin coat of Elmer's is fine. Then I'll show you how I rimmed them. With more watercolor. And you will probably, although I can't be certain, if you want to do buttonholes, probably you will need a crocodile or a strong punch. I did not try a regular punch. Although it might work, you know, I don't know. I just didn't want to break my punch. Okay, so then I took some more water and I just kind of wet the edge a little bit because I didn't care if my rim was perfect. And actually it was prettier if the color kind of just ran into the center a little bit. I feel a sneeze coming on. Some glue so I can get a mauve here. Okay, something like that. And I'm not going to wet the back. Just going to try to go around there for time's sake. Okay, something like that. Get that up there. I'm probably going to dab that off too, just so I can get it dry for the gloss. Okay. Dry enough. Okay. So there we have it. The dull flower or button. And then the gloss. get a card here. I just applied with my finger to avoid brush strokes. I didn't do that at first, and then I realized, what am I doing? I can do this in 5 seconds with my finger. Why am I using a brush? Okay, then just let that dry a little bit. Flip it over, do the back. And do that like 4 to 6 times at least. Some I did more just because I didn't want to waste my acrylic medium. So I just kept going until I ran out. Okay. That's pretty much it. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty already. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's so pretty. Looks like a rock or a seashell. And that's what attracted me. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so thanks so much for that inspiration. I'll probably finish in this card at least for the photo. So let me bring these up here somehow. And then I'll flip them. I'll just show you one heart. These are just on that circle with a glue dot. But you can make them in different sizes. Apply a few more and send that out for Happy Mail. I just did that for display. And then I thought the maps were nice because it kind of maybe represented where you found your fossil, where you did your dig. So that was, plus I just thought the colors were, the map background colors are kind of similar. So there you go. Please tell me I'm still seeing a glare. Okay. Now let me turn them over. And the hardest part is choosing which side you want to display. And then I'll show you real quick how I got my button template. Okay. And there again, there's the actual back of the heart. I got 2 new lights in here and I'm still not used to it. So okay, let me quick show you the button template. And I just took it from a previous button which I made. I made these from a large button and just made a template. And then I used that and put that on top and took like a copper metallic marker made a couple of holes just in case I missed the hole. It wouldn't mess up the design because it would still be a metallic. And then I just poked my holes with a crocodile because I felt the strength. These are pretty sturdy. And as I said, I didn't want to attempt ruining my punch. So, okay, this is ready for another coat already. And I will get the 4 to 6 coats on here. And I'll finish glazing these up. And then, as I said, I'm probably going to go get a spray acrylic sealer, or maybe I don't know if it comes in a tube or a bottle, an acrylic varnish, so I can avoid the Mod Podge tackiness. And this acrylic gloss medium is also a little tacky, so be aware of that. And it looks milky to start, but it will dry clear. So that's what I'll do. And then I'll have a nice little stash of new ephemera or embellishments. To add wherever I want. I think these will be nice for the upcoming probably fall journals because they look so organic. And they're just beautiful. I mean, they're just, you can make little trinkets, charms, trying to think of what else. Possibly you could do a paper clip. Probably you could do a paper clip. You could do a brad paper clip. I'm almost certain. So yeah, they're just gorgeous. So I hope you'll give this a try, and I'm going to speed up the stamping part at least, and I'll speed up whatever else I can, and hopefully make this a little bit shorter. So thank you so much, everyone. I will see you next time, and you have a great day and a great week. Bye. One more second, me again. This video is going to have so many edits. I forgot I had some leftover dyed twine from another watercolor project. This was simple off-white twine, cotton twine. You can get it everywhere, and that's what I used for my buttonhole strings. Okay, again, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.